Hey, you. Does your mind constantly race about things all the time? Yeah. Oh, right. Sorry. I was looking at the mirror that's just above the monitor. Yeah. Have you found yourself just having a real tough time just relaxing when you know that there's just something out there that might need your attention? And this isn't about procrastinating or anything. It's not even about worrying anything, but you just know that there's these big problems that are out there and that you're just constantly trying to figure out how to solve them, how best to approach them, what's the best angle to take on things, how are you going to start moving forward in life, all of those big problems, and you just can't figure out how to properly relax and rest because not being properly refreshed is just going to make your problems worse because you're not going to have the neural pathways making the connections and you're not going to have the proper nutrition in order to properly tackle those said problems. So, how do you relax when you don't have the answers? Copious amounts of drugs. No, I'm just joking. First time someone suggested that I stop to think of up a solution to a situation I was trying desperately to solve, it sounded like a lovely idea. Tell us more about how you were a quitter, Nancy. But truth be told, I had no idea how to put this advice into action. Resolution, for me, had always meant understanding what was happening, what it meant, and most of all, knowing what to do about it. Resolution had always involved in excessive and obsessive thinking. If I didn't want to live in anxiety and feel utterly unmoored, I had to solve the questions that were still unsolved. I had to think more, not less, about my difficulties. Living peacefully and not having the answers were incompatible. I needed a plan, a way out of the solution, not a comfy chair inside. But over time, I realized that despite all the thinking humanly possible, nothing humane about this. It's just so evil. There were important questions in my life that I couldn't know and couldn't solve. Not yet, anyway. The truth was unavoidable and irrefutable. Oh my Lord, it sounds like you're going through quite a traumatic situation. Why do you turn in the big 4-0? I had to admit and accept that. And with all my pseudo-knowing, how about just regular knowing? Why you gotta bring the law into it? All my proposed and attempted solutions, I was still not any better off. Any knowing I had thought myself into was illusory. The more I tried to know, the more I felt like I didn't know. On the other side of the admission and acceptance, however, I found something unexpected. Utter relief. Okay, maybe it was copious amounts of drugs. Living in the question. Let's see where this lady goes. The only true wisdom is the knowing that we know nothing, Socrates said. That's just really based information. Because you might know a lot about something, but you're never going to know everything about it. And it's arrogant to think that, I'm an expert on this and I know everything about it. It's like we're all just apes stumbling around on a big blue giant death marble in the middle of outer space. Keep that in mind at all times. It really helps you out with perspective. A lot has changed over 2,500 years since Socrates uttered those words. A lot less than you're trying to make believe here. Today, few people could even understand his meaning. We call them the mentally deficient. Call them something different on the main channel. Meanwhile, our unceasing need to know the answer, along with our unwillingness to accept the unknown, generate a torrent of excessive thinking and anxiety. Well, anxiety would only exist if you thought you were helpless about the situation, but if you properly frame it in your mind, you shouldn't be experiencing any anxiety in respect to a problem that needs to be solved or something that's so complex and so large that you couldn't hope to solve in just this simple thought session. There are other things that you can be anxious about, I guess, maybe. Mystery in our society is not a real thing. Oh my god, you just ruined magic for me. Oh man. It's a flaky or woo-woo thing. That's racist. We're taught from the time we're born that we are good. I don't like this lady anymore. That we're good, worthy, and we have the answer. Somebody had an overbearing mother. At the same time, knowing feels safe and feels like we're in control with the answers in place. We don't have to face the impermanence that underpins our life, the reality that knowing everything is constantly changing. Yeah, she's just trying to cope with just giving up on everything. That's awesome. But despite that, we're all in conditions to believe life is forever depositing us in situations where we don't have the answers we want. We don't know the way forward, to say nothing and to give larger not knowing what we're all doing here, existing in the first place, given how often we won't know the answers. We would be wise to learn how to inhibit the non-knowing sense of acceptance and relaxation other than judgment and fear. When we offer ourselves permission to not know, to accept Jesus Christ into our life, because that's just a kind of soft thing is what she's saying here. We allow life to reveal what it wants to reveal in its own time without forcing it. This is what happens when you listen to Sam Harris's podcast too much. Oh, free will's a myth and everything's just fixed in society and you just have to surrender to it, but I'm an atheist. Yeah, sure. The questions then remarkably became its own destination. Yeah, cool. Just enjoy the ride. Don't worry about the destination. Yeah, because you never have the firm concrete goal in life. What's more, we find that not knowing is at place. If we have the courage to trust it, can deliver deeper and wiser solutions, real solutions, path forward, that are more reliable than anything we can mentally muscle our way into knowing. Stop generalizing. Just because you're stupid doesn't mean everybody else is. Surrendering to living in the questions feels like dropping through a trap door. Suddenly, we are deposited into the present moment, and we have permission to be here. You really need permission to exist? I guess maybe in some socialist countries. To experience what life is like now, we have permission to get interested in the experience of this reality and allow the answers to reveal themselves on their own timeline. Yeah, that's the problem with anxiety, okay? We're just going to deviate from this because I don't like this article anymore. I thought it was going to be a fun topic, but it's just really useless. Anxious people, okay? They live in the future, okay? Guilty people, depressed people, they constantly live in the past, okay? Those are two things that you can't control, okay? The only thing that you can control is what you're doing right now, okay? Like, I'm controlling what I'm saying, going through this microphone right here, and being potentially delivered out to people. I don't know, don't really care. But if you don't take the time to honestly answer the questions that you have in your mind, and you just keep pushing them off, they're just going to get larger. They're just going to get more difficult to solve. And just because you think that you're too overwhelmed and that you need to relax on it, maybe you're just finding a way to cop out. Maybe just assess the problem with a honest interpretation of the facts. Ask for help from reliable sources. They don't have to be like actual people. You can find many a reliable resource online, not reliable sources. That's the old potato head over there at CNN. Anything but. But I like to think that people are smarter than a lot of others give them credit for. You have the ability to make your life better. Nobody else has the ability to make your life better. Ultimately, it all comes down to you. You got to take the first step. Stop putting that thing off that you know you should be doing and go and do it. With that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.